So it looks like if it was up to Samsung, you wouldn't be able to buy any of their 2019 flagship phones going forward. And we're going to talk about just that in this video. So interestingly enough, I came across a couple articles that's saying that Samsung's having some internal discussions about potentially discontinuing their 2019 flagship phones. And this is all the 2019 flagship phones. I'm talking about the Samsung Galaxy S10, S10 Plus, Note 10, Note 10 Plus, even the Fold and the Z Flip. They want to discontinue the entire lot. And if this is true at all, ironically, it's not very surprising to me, but it is a terrible idea on so many different levels. If not for the main reason that for the less financially blessed people out there, one of the main ways that you can get a really great flagship phone, and not just a mid-range that's good as a flagship, an actual flagship phone, is to wait for the new flagship phones to be released and then pick up last year's model, which is usually pretty much just as good as this year's model with a couple of different upgrades or downgrades at a lower price point. And if Samsung decides to disable its previous year's flagships, leaving only the current ones that are on the market as an option, that's going to upset a lot of consumers. Now, as I said before, I'm not surprised that they want to do this. If you really think about it and consider where the smartphone market is nowadays, it's getting increasingly difficult for manufacturers to kind of pitch a new phone to you every year, because the phones that are coming out are not much different than the year before, with some incremental upgrades and changes. There isn't anything that's going to make these phones as innovative as they were back when the full screen displays weren't a thing, or the cameras that take really great pictures just weren't a thing. Nowadays, phones are basically almost the same. So I'm surprised more companies aren't having this discussion in-house, but it doesn't make sense for them to pull this off at the moment. It's just going to seem like corporate greed if they really remove last year's phones and only give you the option to purchase the ones that are currently out on the market. And that's exactly what Samsung's afraid of. They're afraid that the S10 or Note 10 models are going to cannibalize the actual sales of their S20s or Note 20s that are coming out now. People are going to look at those phones and see them as a viable option versus spending $1,300 on a new Note. Why not just go out and get the Note 10? That's almost close to the exact same thing as the Note 20, with again a couple of downgrades from the chipset. But if all those things do exactly what you need them to do at a cheaper price, this phone actually is a better benefit to some customers. So removing that from the market, Samsung sees this as an opportunity to sell more of their newer flagship phones. Like I said, it makes sense from a business standpoint, but it's definitely not a consumer-friendly move for them to make. And you can definitely see other companies following suit if they do this and it becomes a success. So this is bad for us, maybe potentially good for them. And ironically, in the end, it really falls on the companies themselves. They're creating their own problems. Year after year, these new phones come out and the prices just steadily creep up, $100 here, $100 there, and they end up competing for market share with themselves because their older phones look so much more attractive because the pricing of those phones have gone down and the quality and the specifications are still in those older phones. So it makes a lot more financial sense for somebody to go out and buy one of those flagship phones because it's still a flagship experience at sometimes 20 to 30% less the price. So my suggestion to Samsung and all these companies out there is definitely don't do this, because this is a terrible idea that really screws over the customer. Stop raising the prices of your new flagship phones so high. Keep that pricing structure and just lower the price of your older phones and still provide people with great options to purchase the older ones, and you're still going to have people buying the newer ones because the prices aren't absorbently crazy like they're getting. No one wants to spend $1,300 on a smartphone nowadays. So keep that in mind, and you probably won't have to discontinue the very phones that people actually want to purchase from you. That's just my 2 cents anyway. So I do pass the question off to you guys. What do you guys think about this? How long or how far back do you think companies should hold their flagship devices? Do you think they should discontinue them after 2 years, after 3 years, 4 years? Go ahead and comment in the comment section down below the video. Let me know what you think about this entire situation. I'm definitely interested to know your thoughts on it. And while you're down there, you know what to do. If you enjoyed the video, definitely go ahead and hit us with a like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm know that this was a good video, and hit hitting that subscribe button lets us know that this was a good video with that bell for notification. And that bell is actually pretty important because it's the only way you guys are going to know when we release some cool, helpful content just like this one. Until next time, guys, you can check out a video we did about the Samsung Galaxy Note that's coming out, and probably you want to stay away from that one. And this is something YouTube believes you'd enjoy watching, guys. As always, thank you so much for checking out the video. Make sure to stay safe out there. And until I see you next time, peace out.